beef booth, but he's extremely corny. That's really the If you laugh at his jokes, please stop, because I'm trying to get him not to be quite so corny. So this is why the corny shirt is out. Feel free to mention anything as you'd like as well. Lots of bad jokes. Should we start from the early years and move forward? Okay.
Yeah, go chronological.
Chronological. Let's see. We've got some pictures of Nana Dick, who was very special to Dave, and she was an amazing cook as well, from everything I keep hearing. Baker. She was a lunch lady, and I don't cook that great. That's not very good grammar either. So I can't even compete. But Grandma Dick's up here. We also have Grandma and Grandpa Reddick, who are extremely important to Dave as well. So picture of them up here too.
Can I show this?
Yep. Do you want to tell them about it?
No, you do.
So where's Sydney?
I haven't seen her.
She went home.
Sydney, tell us about this picture. Can you? Tell us about it. Loudly.
I took a picture of it to enter in the fair and I got first place.
So there's some photo items up here. Some of you know Dave from photo. I know Mike Johnston from the Daily Record. Photos. That's kind of how they connected at the Daily Record with photography. We've got Boy Scout stuff. Dave's prompting me here. Boy Scouts, very influential part of his life as well, growing up.
One thing about that too is just this last few months I just started Cub Scouts with Matthew, so that's kind
Anyone know that Dave was a swimmer?
Yeah, I do now.
He's still an excellent swimmer, like put due to shame kind of swimmer. He still looks exactly like that. I promised him I wouldn't put anything too Speedo-like. So these represent his swimming years in high school. He did lots and lots and lots of swimming. He still loves to swim. He did the Whiskey Dick Triathlon as well, the swimming portion of it. He did very well. I don't remember how you rank. Thanks the humor. There's a little toss out to Star Trek. So there's definitely to my husband. So Star Trek.
I have to say that's a good prompting. Before Pam and I were married, I was at home, we were watching football or something, and the doorbell rang. I'm like, who's coming over? So I open the door and Pam says, surprise! And she's got this Starship Enterprise made out of aluminum foil about this big. And in the main body of it, someone had made cookies and put it inside of them. And she had wanted it in a fries, and she wanted to come right over and give me this Starship Enterprise filled with cookies.
I was trying to woo him then. I also found, I don't know if anyone noticed, a picture of the Sonics. Oh yeah. My poor husband still cries about the Sonics in Seattle. He's very embittered about it. I don't know if he's watched any NBA since then, so a little toss out of that. Lots of hiking stuff up here, enchantment pictures. So raise your hand if you've done the enchantments with my husband. Or any time in your lifetime. I love it. Yay, very good.
So Ryan, actually, the last time I did it, we did it in a whole day. We started at 4 or 5 in the morning and went till 10 at night. We met Dad at the bottom at 10 at night, and he gave us a ride. So Ryan brought a barf bag because I threw up pretty much the whole I wasn't in shape, or I don't know if I did very well with the altitude, but I got pretty sick. And I had been drinking a giant thing of red Powerade. So it looked like someone had shot a goat or something. All over the white sweat.
Have you been able to drink that stuff since then?
Not really. Sorry for that.
Also, a photo of Ridge to River. David and his dad did some Ridge to River and Wenatchee a few times. So lots of fun things that they did together. Some pictures of David and his dad hiking throughout the years. That was a really important part of their relationship. What else should we talk stuff. Lord of the Rings. And I've seen the special features section now. We've got Sunset Magazine. My husband is in closet, wannabe interior designer, contractor. He's extremely visual, so he likes Sunset Magazine very much. So there's lots of Sunset magazines. This is for our wonderful friend Jennifer. Dave and Jen enjoyed lots of Mariners game watching. And he bought the My Oh My. Is this the year they won the something?
That's when you left him to go to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to borrow this. Got some more Boy Scout items. Dave finished his Eagle Scout, so he reached the highest level.
Thanks, Dad.
And he did say that his dad pretty much made him finish. But sometimes Dave needs that little extra push. So wonderful. What else we got? Lots of good stuff. Oh, the kites. The kites.
This is my stunt kite. I like to fly kites. I'm in the right town for it. It's kind of put together with duct tape and other things now because it's cracked so many times, but it doesn't get around. I've actually won this when I was a student at Central. We had this scavenger hunt where you go around to all the different businesses and get stamps. And I don't think anybody else ever finished all the stamps. So every year I won like $250 worth of like gift certificates around town. I never told anybody that all you had to do was go around town and get the stamps, and it's pretty much guaranteed to win.
He still loves to fly kites. During our whole Australian trip, that was what he was obsessed about the whole time.
I forgot it.
Some certain type of kite that he wanted. Since we mentioned college, we'll rewind a little bit here. So, anyone notice the picture of him doing a little bit of a karaoke type of experience?
No shirt.
It's a slight shirt. It's kind of it was a butterfly glittery shirt. So, Dave actually did what they called Mr. Central 2 years in a row at Central.
I didn't sign up
your
for
wife
it.
was in that?
Some
I did.
Okay.
mystery person in the dorm signed me up for that one. I'm not sure who that could have been.
So
They must have saw your swimming picture.
So he and our good friends Robbie, and we call him Little Dave, did a lip sync to Aretha Franklin's Respect. And if you would like him to do that tonight. So that was Mr. Central. The first year he read poetry. What he read was Beat It by Michael Jackson. I couldn't believe that he still had that. The quilt. So anyone notice the quilt picture? Anyone know my husband's a quilter? No. I know. Yeah. So he likes anything in regards to design. He's extremely visual, like I said. So when did he start quilting, Barb? Why did he went to college? So early college, he learned to sew, or helped him learn how to quilt. And so he made a few quilts, and so I brought one that he made and designed. This is my love quilt that he made for me. Made the whole darn thing all of himself. He doesn't do the hand quilting, it's just all machine. So it's more manly.
He said it with a chainsaw.
Right, yeah.
He's still the person at our house that does all the sewing and stitching. So, here he is. Just a couple more things, and then I'll open it up for you guys if you brought anything or willing to share with us. Young Life Songbook. Dave met the Lord at Young Life. So. Bible. As you know, Dave is an amazing man of God.
What is the spatula for?
The drink.
So this has multiple meanings. This was like my little stroke of genius as I was driving home last night. So my husband really loves pancakes and breakfast food in general. So he is the designated breakfast
And
guy.
my own French too.
And what?
And my own French.
So you have your own spatula?
Yeah.
This is his spatula, I think.
No, mine doesn't have holes in it.
So he loves to make pancakes. But then the second meaning I thought is that this is a serving tool. My husband loves to serve. Anything you'd like to share? Items that you brought, some memory that you'd like to share?
I feel like you're at my funeral. Yeah, that's funny. Mike, I used to work with Mike at the Daily Record, and we would sit, our desks faced each other, so we'd get to gaze at each other through the day. But he actually brought my first digital camera. It's not mine, it was the newspaper's. And I totally forgot about it, but then it's like, he's got it open to the Spanish section. But, just all the directions about how to use a digital camera. Back in the day when I had a memory card that was 300 megabytes, and it cost the newspaper $300 for the memory card. And then he also brought some rolls of film. I don't know, does anybody know what film is? But I would, we would have to, I got one roll of film a day. And so we used to buy a roll of 24, and then I got smart when I ordered film, like, well, I could just order a roll of 36, and I get 12 more pictures for the day, for my work day. But I remember on assignments, I'd have to sit there and think, okay, is this one of my frame-worthy pictures? I've only got 36 today, I better make everyone count. And I would roll the rolls of film in the dark and make my own rolls.
And he would come home smelling like the bell bird. Thank you, Mike. Anything else besides vomit bags and that you'd like to share?
And then Mom would always be so impressed that my picture made it on the front page of the paper. Not knowing that I was the only photographer at the paper. Every day I was on the front page of the paper. Quite a portfolio.
Thanks for coming and sharing our moment. Yes, Kevin, please.
Just real quick,
Awesome.
I got this shirt. It's literally a shirt off Dave's back, and he gave it to me. Not right off his back, thankfully. We were at the harvesting where these guys every year they go out and make apple juice, which is one of my highlights of the year. So thank you very much for always having my family over. Right before he gave this shirt to me, he shot me with a garden hose at point blank range. He says it was an accident, but I think we all know probably not. But then he gave me a shirt to replace mine, and that's to me just typifies Dave. He would literally give anyone a shirt off his back and do anything that could help anyone. Thanks, Brother Paul.
Anyone else want to share?
We were over picking plums, my cousin Christy and I, at their house, which again, they're just so generous with in every way. But and my cousin had fallen off of this chair and dislocated her arm, which we thought she might have broken it. And so Dave ended up taking care of 9 children from, I think from 1-year-old to 12. While the women all took my cousin to the hospital, to the emergency room. And so they were laughing when we got done. He had taken all of them to Weininger's, walked from their house to Weininger's with these 9 children. They were joking that he should have a TV show called Dave Plus 9. But it was, anyway, that was awesome. And I also just, in the same vein, just with them doing the apple cider making, I was this year struck by how they provided the apples and food, and then they had gone and bought all of these gallon containers of drinking water to empty and use for people to put their apple cider in. So they're providing everything from along the whole process, and just what a gift both of you are to everyone who you come into contact with. So thanks.
It's funny you say that. Like, people think about that in October, but we're like, I have to go prune the trees in the next few months. So like, even now we're starting our apples for next year.
And did anyone notice that we brought some cider for you to drink? So please drink it up. Please get rid of it. Around the room you'll find gobstoppers.
I want to say
One of
something about
Dave's
Dave.
favorites. All right, very good.
I want to bring like an old Crossfire t-shirt, because Dave's an old Crossfire leader. And I also couldn't figure out how to get an item to represent abandonment. Truly though, I was like, okay, what am I going to bring to represent what David's meant for me since I've been here in just like 2.5 years? And I was like, I just don't know how to put kindness into an item. Because this is one of the kindest men I've ever met in my life. When I had back surgery, he brought over like an eating tray for me so I can eat in bed. And Pam and him rolled up these roast beef tortillas, and they were great, easy microwave, and Alicia was tired of feeding me. So, yeah, just loads of stuff. The cider party's big. I got invited to his party one time, birthday party, and we played Catan, and I let him win. But Dave, you guys all know, right? Kindest guy you know, definitely.
Okay, so we were in a small group with Dave. They were one of the first families that we met way back when people thought that Andrew came to a couple small group in church, and that they just said, he said he was married, but they never had seen me because I had class every Wednesday night, I think, and so they made fun of him that he was a single guy and only do a married couples group. But then when I did meet, these are some of our first friends that we met here in Washington, and Dave has always been the most creative person that I know. And we did, I don't know if you remember, those postcards you sent us. Over the course of like a year, I don't know, 6 months to a year, Dave sent us postcards because we were the couple in the group that didn't do email or have internet. We didn't have cell phones, so we never know what was going on. People would never get the message of what we were supposed to have sent you. So Dave brought us.
Well, we actually gave them a carrier pigeon.
Yes.
It was supposed to be a carrier pigeon. They stole our carrier pigeon. It disappeared. And then like 3 months later, we get a postcard with the carrier pigeon in
The
it.
carrier pigeon had gone to like Cancun and to New York. And I don't even remember where else he'd gone, but he would be back soon. And so it was just pretty awesome. Dave is not only, as you said, the kindest and most wonderful man, and generous, and brings chocolate chip cookies to our house and watches my children. And but that he also, is so creative and just does amazing things. Takes something so simple and can make it just one of the best gifts and make it continue. And, I don't know.
So
We love it.
we would roll little notes up and tie it to the leg of the bird, and then give that to them. They'd tie something and give it back. And I guess they give it to us at church. And I got the coffee at the coffee stand. And put the bird on the coffee stand, got my coffee, and just walked off. And like, we didn't know where the bird went to. We lost the little bird. And like 8 months later, I'm getting my coffee at the coffee stand. And I'm like, where did you get this bird from? It's been there for months. We don't know whose bird that is. Then I took it back and photoshopped it into all sorts of different spots. And then to write little notes in the back. That was fun for me to
That's funny.
sit back and try and figure out where the bird had gone.
So I met Little Dave when I came from Colorado, so I brought my Colorado shirt. Big Dave. I knew Little Dave, who was the other Dave in the really weird dancing picture. By the way, Little Dave texted me to tell you that you're the only man that he would ever dance in a miniskirt for. And so I bought this shirt in Colorado because they took me in and fed me every week. Because if you're single, people feel like you can't cook or take care of yourself. I let them think that for a couple of years. You know, that shit already. And we went back to Colorado this summer, and all of us met Little Dave and Big Dave. So that meant a lot to me.
We already knew.
That's our friend Stefan. Anyone else? Anything you'd like to share? This is fun. All right.
I'm Dave Reed's mother-in-law, and we just moved to town a couple of years ago. And
No, it's a year ago.
and I was trying to get a direct-to-lead person, and there was a gap in frustration, and I was losing it. And Dave and Pam were staying with us for a little while because they were remodeling their new house. And they just had to come in and take the telephone away and talk to that lady. Get calm me down. So he's been really good Sunday. Yes, more than just that.
He's very patient.
So the first time I met my mother-in-law, never a good way to start a sentence. I showed up to Pam's house. Wasn't a date, was it? We were going out with some friends of ours. We were going to go to a comedy club, and you opened the door, and she looked at me and said, "You look way too young to even be." How old are you? Let me see your driver's license.
She wasn't kidding.
So I had to get out my driver's license. It's like, you're not old enough to drive. It was probably about this. It looked like about that. I didn't show up with my scout.
That's probably a good thing.
That's a happy memory for me.
Anything else you'd like to share? Thoughts or? So
Around and on all those hikes and everything, always in short pants.
Jacob called them girls' shorts. Because they were short, they were short enough, just the way they were back in the day. I think one of them over here, I'm wearing hot pink shorts too. You won't see me in hot pink shorts too much. I always remember Dad, we went on a 50-mile hike, and we were hiking probably 20 miles. We're out in the middle of nowhere. His dad had hiked from another way, because he couldn't leave the same time we did, or you were coming from the eastern, and he had hiked 10, 15 miles in the woods by himself just to meet us up with us in the middle of nowhere. That was just a great memory.
That was before GPS too, probably. Yeah.
When Dave and I and his brother used to go up to Stevens Pass and to ski, so we'd have some fun times besides just school and working. And I remember when I was on the patrol up there, I had all these rides up the chairlift, and people would say, "Well, who do you ski with?" "Well, we're with the Edmond Ski School." "Oh, we know your two sons, Dave." "Yeah, you know Dave and Greg." And they'd say, "Yeah. You know, Dave always tells us all about your business." "We know everything that your family does and why you're up there."
You weren't in witness protection or anything.
Dave can be a little chatty. He's kind of an unsuspecting chatty.
And I think I would always be skiing alone, so I'd be in the singles line, or you'd have to get in line to go skiing and you'd have to yell out, "Single!" and then you could ride up with people. And so I always just like yeah, even though you have to scream out, and you can get on the quad with another person. Yeah, right.
All these moms wanted to match you up with their daughter.
But we used to stay in a motorhome. We'd go up to the motorhome lot Friday night and park, and then ski all weekend, and then drive back Sunday night. And we would teach classes for the ski school so that we could get our, not free, but it was really reduced season pass that way. So I always remember skiing down the hill backwards, teaching little kids how to make their big piece of pie and turn down the hill.
I remember one night the kids came to the door, the boy said, "Mom, what's a bong?"
Just like in the ski movies.
They found it buried out by the motor home. Somebody had stashed it. The next week or two, I said, just keep looking. There's a group of boys looking for it. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, a group of boys were looking all over.
Yeah, but there were 7 of us smashed in a little RV. I remember my brother, in the middle of the night, he would sometimes talk in his sleep. We were all sleeping and he just screamed out, "I know you're in there! I know you're in there!" Everyone woke up. That's probably where I got my love of board games too. Just because there was no TV or, so we would just sit around and do board games.
Some of the board games we brought are Risk and Scrabble and Catan, that Paul mentioned. What's the other one?
Cranium.
Oh, Cranium. We did that. Cranium. We played Cranium a lot in some of our early young married small groups. We like to still call ourselves a young married small group, but we decided maybe that's no longer appropriate.
Not at 40.
No. Anything else? Before we have a treat?
I just want to thank you guys for all coming out. I knew this was going to be really exciting for me to be able to see all my friends and family, and just a cool experience. I sure appreciate it.
It's nice you're getting older too.
Yeah. Yeah. Gray hair.
I guess one thing we can't leave out, Dave, is we have had an orchard for probably the last 30 years. And Dave and his brother, and even his brother here when he was younger, would get out there and they'd be out there at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning picking those cherries, and you'd hear the tractor going. And since they were young, driving the tractor, and it's fond memories. Really lots of fun. I don't know, did you ever work at the warehouse like Craig did?
No, I never worked in the warehouse.
Oh, yeah, he had a real experience.
We'd pick one tree while the rest of the crew would pick the whole orchard.
Yeah.
It was not very fast. I remember we would load the bins onto the back of Dad's truck, and he had like a little wall that you could back up to, and then it would be the same height as the tractor. Well, I put the tractor too low, and the tongs and the forklift part went underneath the bed of his truck and just like ripped the bed of the truck up. I didn't get to drive the tractor after that.
I remember the time you had my legs together.
Yeah. Dad got between the barn and the tractor, and it rolled. It didn't smush you, but it was just enough that you could breathe. But you get to that point where you have to put it in reverse and let the clutch off, and it sometimes rolls forward a little bit. And it was... Sorry? No, but really, I sure appreciate you guys. This is so great to look out. I wish I could do this every day.
So Erin so nicely segued for us about taking those 9 kids to Weininger's for ice cream. Dave loves Weininger's ice cream, so we have ice cream that we'll bring out. We also have some cookies that Dave actually made himself and brought. And if anyone's ever had one of Dave's chocolate chip cookies, he likes to think of it as his little specialty.
Once I brought his chocolate chip cookies to school, and the class was like, "These are good cookies." I'm like, "Yeah, my dad made them."
But, how do I say that? How to say that? So, chocolate chip cookies kind of brought me to life. Sounds weird to say, but we had my crazy brother, she was here. He had built this giant ski jump. I grew up on a lake, and he had built a ski jump, and they were going to ski off the jump and do flips into the lake. It was probably about as tall as the ceiling here, and had a vertical and kind of went out. And so him and his friend were out building this giant ski jump out of plywood and 2x4s. And I was just a young kid at home watching Nickelodeon or something. I don't know what kids do when they're. And I decided to make cookies. And so I brought him a cookie and spread him a cookie, and he's like, "Oh, that's great, thank you, that's so nice of you. You should come to Young Life with me." And he was like a senior, and I was a sophomore or freshman, I don't remember. But just was that one little act.
Yeah. It's great.
So we have cookies. And we also have a couple of cakes that Dave loves. Our wonderful friend Jen made us a German chocolate cake. I asked her to make it because I would never be able to make anything like that. And tiramisu.
Yeah.
That's not travel and exotic foods. He loves tiramisu. So we have some Greek stuff. And please do our root beer taste testing. And the photo booth is a must. We have to do the photo booth. Our memories of you being here today. And in a little while, we're going to make Dave do something hopefully embarrassing and wonderful.
What is that whole thing?
31 minutes.